Good morning, Dr. Jenny Brockis. Thanks for joining us here at Yellow Shelf.
Delighted to be with you, Joe.
Look, it's a pleasure. Congratulations on your new book, The Natural Advantage.
Thanks so much. I'm really excited about this book because I'm hoping that people will take away the idea that nature is for everybody, but it's up to us to choose to access it because of all the beautiful benefits it brings to us.
Yeah, and look, Jenny, we were just chatting in the lead up to hitting record here. This is
Yeah.
a book about outdoor time and so simple, yet, it's that the reality of us factoring that into our life as a priority in all our juggles. Jenny,
Yeah.
what if we're watching wherever we are in the world, if we're on Yellow Shelf now watching, what do we need to know about the book? What do you want to tell us? And obviously tell us about what inspired you. You've got a lot, and you've got a number of previous books as well, but what inspired you to write this particular book?
I wrote this book because during the time of COVID, when so many of us had to suddenly upend our lives and move indoors for prolonged periods of time, and for those people living in Melbourne, it was particularly challenging. I think it became increasingly obvious that as human beings, we just yearn to be outside.
Yeah.
But so often we're so busy, we're so stressed, we're so caught up with everything else, we've forgotten how important that outdoor time is for us to feel well mentally and physically, and in so many different ways. I think intuitively we know, and I do, and I'm sure you do as well. When you get outside and enjoy a bit of fresh air and sunshine, you come back feeling better, refreshed, energized, and sort of you feel you can cope with life's challenges a bit more easily. But why is that? So I wrote the book because I recognized that during COVID, I definitely missed that opportunity to get out as much as I wanted to. I also had the insight that I've lived through bouts of anxiety and depression myself. And one of my go-tos has been to get outside, to to sometimes be on my own, just in a beautiful place, just to sit and look and listen. And it's not only calming, but it's restorative. I'm sure it actually helped me to recover more quickly. I mean, yes, we've got medication, we've got people to talk to and stuff like that. But I think we forget we evolved in nature. And we need to be outside. We spend too much time indoors.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jenny, I mean, I guess I'm relating to my own journey in different periods in my life, but even as a first-time mother, I, and your husband or your partner, whoever goes back to work, and you all of a sudden, first-time mother, have a newborn baby. I used to just put my firstborn in a pram and just walk. And there was nothing I needed to walk to other than just to get outside. So I know there's that piece in the book where it doesn't have to, it can be really simple. It can be round the block. You don't have to drive to the coast. You don't have to, drive to a hike. Do you know, like I know that was just such a good thing for me as a first time mum.
Absolutely. And I think we sometimes overcomplicate things, don't we? We
Yeah.
think, oh, yes, I really ought to get out into nature, but I can't possibly take time out because of whatever's going on in our lives.
Mm.
And the idea of going out for that time off grid just seems too far away. And so we don't do anything, forgetting that it's often the small things
Yes.
that have the most profound effect. So getting outside, sitting in your backyard, taking your
Yeah.
child in their pushchair around the block or down to the local park or something. It's just those little things that add up that make the biggest difference. People often say to me, well, how long do I need to spend outside? And I say, as long as you've got. So
Yeah.
it could be 3 to 4 minutes. It
Yeah.
could be that you've got half an hour. But it's something that we can choose to include in our daily routine and make it a habit. And I think when we create the habit, it becomes something we look forward to. And if we look forward to something, we keep on doing it. It's as easy as that.
Yeah. And look, what I resonated is yeah, it just has to be really simple. It just has to be connecting to, if it's a footpath, if it's the coast, if it's hiking, whatever is your bit to connect,
Yeah,
find a
yeah.
way. Yeah.
Because some people, they're more drawn to water. I've got some friends who just love the ocean or just love being by a river. And for them, that's their go-to. And if they're lucky enough to live close by, it's that easy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if it's blue or green, it's about being outdoors. And I
Yeah.
think as parents, the greatest gift we can give to our children is to encourage them to play outside,
Yes. Yeah.
because that's how they learn about the world around them. That's how they explore and make sense of
Yeah.
what's around them. And um, I don't know how old your children
Oh,
are.
my kids are still, sort of 10, 11, 12, that sort of age. So they're
Yeah,
still curious about the world. I,
yeah.
I guess I've still got a level of control about, hey, let's do this, let's do that. But yeah, no, I think and you don't have to spend a lot of money.
Well, it's often free, isn't it? I
Yeah,
mean, you
yeah,
take them out to a local park, which has often
yes,
got things there for children to climb on or get inside of and stuff like that. That's all they need. They
yeah,
don't need expensive gadgets. And of course, the more we can get them away from their video games and time on screens, the better for their mental health too.
yeah,
So it's so important. So very,
yeah.
yeah.
And Jenny, it was interesting to read about you. I'd love to just share in a moment a little bit about yourself. But what I was interested in, your career started as a Nightingale nurse.
Yes, I
Tell
did.
us, tell
Um,
us about, tell us about Jenny. Tell us about what we need to know.
okay, so Jenny was born in the UK
Yes.
and had no idea what she wanted to do when she grew up. So went off and became a nurse
Yeah.
when I first left school. And I trained at St Thomas's Hospital in London,
Yeah.
which is the school, the Nightingale School of Nursing.
Yeah.
So hence the term Nightingale nurse. It
Yeah.
sounds good, doesn't it? But I quickly realized that actually I was drawn towards wanting to be a doctor, but I didn't know if that was possible because I'd done art subjects at school. I wasn't very good at maths and chemistry and physics and stuff. Anyway, I was lucky enough to get accepted by a university in the UK, which offered an additional course to get people like me into medical school.
Yeah.
So I got in, qualified, and knew that I wanted to be a GP.
Yep.
I didn't want the hospital stuff. No, get me away from that.
Yeah.
I wanted to be part of the community, working with people locally to sort of help keep them healthy and well, which I did, which was great. And having migrated to Australia and set up my own group medical practice, it was fantastic. I so enjoyed that time until I burnt out,
Yeah.
which wasn't a good space to be in.
Sure.
And having recovered from burnout, I then thought, what do I do next?
Love it.
So instead of going back into general practice, because I was worried I'd end up burning out again,
Sure.
I decided to reinvent me and I became a workplace health and wellbeing consultant. So for the last 15 years, I've been working with different businesses and institutions, helping people to understand what it takes to flourish. I retrained in what's called lifestyle medicine,
Yes.
which is a holistic approach to ask what keeps you well,
Yep.
rather than just putting band-aids on what gets broken,
Yes.
to say, well, what gives you joy? What actually helps you to be the best version of yourself in everything you do? So it's a different approach to health and well-being. But
Yeah.
I see it's absolutely vital because we're living at a time of chronic disease, too much mental health problems going on in the world. But lifestyle medicine actually offers so many solutions. And one of the solutions is getting outside into nature.
Yeah.
So there we go. It's going back to the basics of the fundamentals. What do we need to be our best selves? It's eating healthy food. It's being sufficiently active, getting enough good quality sleep, which is always a challenge when you've got small children,
Yeah.
and learning what works for you. to manage your stress levels, because it's the chronicity of the stress,
Sure.
which then leads to inflammation within the body, which actually leads to illness and disease.
Yeah.
And time in nature has been shown by all the research, and there's so much research out there now,
Yeah.
that just getting outside, automatically your stress levels start to drop, your
Yep.
blood pressure calms down, your heart rate slows, your mind starts to clear.
Yep.
What's not to love about getting
Yeah.
outside?
Yes. And Jenny, I mean, I think this book, The Natural Advantage, really complements your previous work as well. You've got books about the mind, you've got books about the brain, and also about thinking. Was that planned, or was that just part of the journey for you?
I think it was just part of the evolution.
Yeah, okay.
I never sort of planned it in this way, but
Yeah.
I think it has been a natural progression, if you like.
Yeah.
Started off very much with the doctor hat on. No, this is how your brain works. This is how you've got to look after it.
Yeah.
Towards what can we do to help our thinking styles to stay clear in our thinking, to what can we do to prevent burnout, because I do a lot of work in that space too,
Yes.
to what gives you joy, what
Yeah.
lifts you up. Yeah, so that I'm in that space now. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, just finally, what if we're watching, no matter where we are in the world, we're watching this, we're curious about Dr. Jenny Brockis, we're curious about the books or the previous books. How do we connect with you? I will put it in the show notes. But what's the best way to kind of learn a bit more about Jenny or the books or connect?
I've got a website, which is simply drjennybrockis.com, and I'm always happy to answer any queries or questions on there. My book's available online
Yes.
through, all the usual
Yeah. Yep.
suspects, and in good bookstores in Australia
Yeah.
and hopefully beyond as well.
Amazon.
I know
Yeah. Look, there's ways to
Amazon,
get it. Yeah.
there's ways to get it.
Um,
And I'm very active on LinkedIn.
I was gonna
So
say you are like a top shelf LinkedIn. So anyone who kind of really wants to stay connected and obviously know your thinking and your thoughts, LinkedIn was definitely the place where I've watched your work over a number of years. So
yeah,
yeah.
that's my sandpit. I love playing in LinkedIn.
Okay.
You
Awesome.
meet you meet so many beautiful people doing such incredible work around the planet. I just think it's an
Yeah.
amazing network. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's probably one of my joy spaces as far as socials. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
look, Jenny, good luck with the book.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
talking to Yellow Shelf. And if there's another book down the track, would you come back and talk to us?
I would love to. And yes, don't
Excellent.
hold your breath, but there will be.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on LinkedIn, and I'm sure I'll know if there's another one. But I would
Thank
love to
you.
have you back to continue to support your thinking and your thought provoking support of wonderful holistic topics.
Thank you so much, Joe. That's been
Thanks,
great.
Jenny.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.